It was the final round of matches in the Championship today, and boy, was it dramatic at both ends of the table. West Brom clinched that second automatic place, but they could only manage a 2-2 draw against QPR. And what a missed opportunity it was then for Brentford, who lost 2-1 against Barnsley. That late goal for Barnsley ensuring them safety and Championship football next season. So Brentford will have to make do with a playoff spot. They'll be joined by Fulham, Cardiff and Swansea. Unbelievable scenes there. Swansea winning 4-1, Nottingham Forest losing 4-1, meaning that the goal difference swing sees Swansea clinch 6th place and that final place in the playoffs where they face off against Brentford. Well, here with me still Craig and Stevie. Should we start with West Brom, boys? Obviously joining Leeds. Early on in the season, it looked like they were home and hosed, but boy, they have limped, quite literally, over the finish line, Craig.
Yeah, they almost did a Leeds of last season, didn't they? And, you know, how lucky are they? At home to QPR can only eke out a draw. And Brentford at home, as you mentioned, Brentford in third place at home to Barnsley, who we're still playing for something, playing for their survival. But Brentford at home, who've been excellent in this season, a win would have taken them automatically up on goal difference. I mean, how gutted are they? But I suppose when you've got a side that are fighting for the survival, then you got to be on your toes. On the other side of that, Charlton, who were down there with them, they had to go to Leeds, and they got battered heavily at Leeds. They would be hoping Leeds were in party mode, but they weren't. They got thumped 4-0. They went down, and Fulham sort of gave up in the end as well. And then old Nottingham Forest, they've been very defensive this season. They've eked out results, Dan, but they finished in 7th. 1 goal out of the playoffs, but they haven't scored enough, and their manager's been criticised, not for his organisation, but when you look at all the other big teams around them going for the playoffs and automatic, they've all scored way more goals than Nottingham Forest. They've been too defensive, but to get beat 4-1 at home by Stoke on the final day is going to be hard for them to take financially. Yeah,
some suggesting ever since you went to the director's box at Christmas, that was pretty much the downfall of Forest.
I went in there as the double agent. I'm not going to get invited back, but I can tell you, the wine was absolutely fantastic.
It may not be next season for you. West Brom,
meanwhile, choking on it.
back in the Premier League, Stevie. But like we were saying, you know, the fact that it was everybody else that pretty much handed it to them in the end.
Yeah, but the fact is they're in, and now the only thing you can think about is, okay, how if I'm a West Brom fan anyway, or Slaven Bilic, is how are we going to do? And quite frankly, when I think of West Brom and I think of Leeds, I think of Slaven Bilic doing a West Ham and just going to be trying to hang on for most of the season. On the other hand, when I think about Leeds, I think about, you know, this could be the Sheffield United of next season, a team that comes out, tries to go forward, just opens up and plays and gets results. So, you know, 2 teams that have gone up. One you can't wait to see play, and the other one I think could be quite dreary. But I do have to say, Nottingham Forest was the biggest upset, I think. You know, because I'm sure Brentford thought that West Brom would win at home, and so for Forest to be knocked out of the playoffs was such a huge swing. I mean, that would have been the last result I thought would have happened in this final day for them. So unlucky Forest, but for West Brom and Leeds, onwards and upwards.
And it's going to be. Do you know the important thing though, Dan? Though, is that at least we've got this finalised, because the legal ramifications, because of the finances involved, the millions and millions involved for these clubs to get up, because Leeds have been trying for so long. West Brom have been a bit of a yo-yo. You got Brentford now going into the playoffs. They could be going to the Premier League for the first ever time. We're going to see a teams relegated on merit on Sunday from the Premier League. So it is kudos to everybody around the leagues around the world that have restarted, particularly in Europe, to get these jobs done. Because, as I say, whilst people would say, well, that's the way it is, we all know that there have been legal ramifications because of the finances. But we've managed to get it done, and we're going to have some playoffs for the Championship anyway, which is going to be interesting. But you have to say Brentford do look the favourites to go up through the playoffs. And don't forget Cardiff in there as well. You know, Neil Warnock, I can't remember, I think he left there early in the season. They've managed to clamber their way up into the playoffs. So they're exit from the Premier League might be short-lived as well. So quite a few storylines in the Championship.
Yeah, this is it for Brentford. We mentioned the fact that obviously they had that fantastic run, lost 2 games back-to-back, meaning they finished 3rd, Stevie. Swansea plucking this out of nowhere to get 6th place. It'll be those two facing off. From a Swansea perspective, I suppose you're almost playing with house money, aren't you? For Brentford, it's all about trying to psychologically get yourself up for this game once again.
There's no question. This is absolutely 100% a psychological battle now for Brentford, because they'll be thinking exactly what Craig said. They'll be thinking we deserve to be in there already, but having had an absolute disaster on the last day of the season, we're going to have to fight and spit and chew and battle and hopefully play some football and get back into the Premier League, because they probably thought that's where they would be. And as you said, for Swansea, oh my goodness, they can trot up, get the gear on, and the manager can say, right, on you go, because you didn't think you would have a chance. Guess what? Go play, and you could be in the Premier League. So, yeah, the playoffs for particularly these two sides is a complete psychological battle, big time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.